All right, we're pretty excited about this. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that looks like a mammoth tooth. I think that's Columbian mammoth, but I don't know. It could be a teaser. And it could just be part of something. If it is Columbian mammoth, it's big. Oh my gosh, it's buried in there, y'all. This is a bunch of rubble. This is bad rubble here. So really, to be honest with you, I mean, there's bone everywhere. There's part of a bison skull that I've already found, small one, and I'm hoping that's mammoth. I believe that's mammoth. I think that's Columbian mammoth, but I'm gonna have to get off the phone or get off the camera and dig it out, because I can't dig it out with one hand, and I want to mess up my phone. All right, I'll get back with you once I get it dug out. Okay, we're back, and I'm pretty confident that's mammoth tooth. It's got a lot of calcium buildup on it, all around the back side of it and on the top, but as you can see, once that calcium comes off, you'll see the top row of the tooth. It's hard to say. It looks like it may only half be there. Really hard to say, but nonetheless, that's a mammoth tooth right there, y'all. We gotta love that. Oh my goodness, I'm glad. It's only the second tooth I've ever found. Oh my goodness, I don't think it's all there, but once we get her home and get her cleaned up, we'll take a peek at it and let you know. All right, well, I've had a couple of comments, was curious about how I clean up the mammoth tooth that I found. So I'm gonna show y'all how I did it, even though I did it without thinking that people would be curious. So I'll show you the tools that I used and the methods that I used. Okay, really just pretty simple. I used this right here, just a little simple screwdriver to get the wider areas. And then of course I used a pick here, sharp on this end, very sharp. And essentially you can see that I still have pieces on it. So really what I did was just go in there and see that little piece there. See how I can click that off. And it's taken a long time. You can see how some of this is coming. Now I've gotten to a point where I've cleaned up most of it, but I've still got some pretty deep pockets, like you can see right here. That's a deep pocket. There's a little bit right there that's deeper, but you can see how it flakes off. You have to be real careful, very time consuming, but it comes off. And this is a little bit easier to come off than normal because it has been soaked in vinegar a little bit, and that is one of my techniques that I typically use with my artifacts. I'm very hesitant with fossils because I don't want it to get in there and eat up. One of the reasons that I didn't soak this whole piece in vinegar was, you can see I've got a crack. I better come back in here. I've got a crack that goes here all the way up to here, actually goes inside here, and over here it's not there, but you can see it's a little bit right down here. What will happen is there's just a small education on the mammoth tooth. Their enamel grows in rows up and down, and they're held together with dentin. What's on the inside of our tooth and the outside of our tooth is capped with enamel. Well, here it's a different concept. They're grazers, chew grass, and so the enamel grows in rows, and it's held together with this dentin in between these rows. And this is why we're starting to see a crack here, is the dentin is deteriorated and the plates will separate. And that's what we see here. this plate, the plate had separated here, and the plate had separated over here. So we've lost the part of the tooth that goes here, and then more part of the tooth that comes out to here, which was, there's probably a third or maybe a little over a third of this tooth that is missing. Now I know that it was missing before, long before I found it, because we've got all of this mineral deposits here. Of course, it was all up and down here, and there's still some here. You can see I'm scared to take this off because this is partially hidden. And see on this back side, you can see that I didn't take it all off either. I'm scared to take this off because I don't want to damage the tooth, lose the tooth. And you can see some of my scratch marks right through here. I wasn't real, see, there's big pieces there. And this is real tender here because this is coming off pretty easy here. And I'm learning that I'll probably do some more work on this tooth, get some more of this out. And I don't need to get distracted, but the reason this is this way and soft on this end, because I did soak this end of it in vinegar. I put about 2 inches of vinegar in it, turned it upside down like this, put it in there and soaked it for a long period of time. I wasn't too concerned that it would draw the vinegar up into the tooth. So that's why I did it, because I had a lot in here that had to come out. You can still see there's quite a bit in there. But I don't want to take this much further because I don't want to lose my tooth or damage my tooth. So essentially that's it. I picked and vinegared. I can tell you that I probably spent a total of about, as far as picking goes, I spent probably 3 hours worth of picking. And then, but I probably spent 12 hours worth of soaking and brushing. And what I also did was use my toothbrush after I soaked. It loosens it up, and then I just come in here and work the tooth like this. And this is how I normally clean up my arrowheads that have these mineral deposits on it. Where I find these mineral deposits is where I'll hunt. A lot of times I'll have artifacts with mineral deposits. Now I'll show you, I know I'm going to show you a before and after of the tooth when I found it. But here's probably 90% of what I saved from what came off of the tooth. And that's a lot of material. Now this material was picked off. I picked all this material off before I ever started using vinegar. And it's a massive amount of mineral deposits. Which, if you saw the find video when I found it, you could tell what it looked like there versus what it looks like now. So that's just a little educational video. I will show you what I do with artifacts. I've pulled out a couple of 3 artifacts that are highly covered in this. And so we can see right here, I can come in here and I can catch a piece of this and flake some of this off. However, with stone tools that are not fossils, that I'm not concerned with damaging them, the vinegar will not get into this rock. It'll just get in and eat all the calcium, or not calcium, mineral buildup. I'm not sure that that's calcium, it's just mineral buildup. So we'll show you what it does and what I use. I'll just take me a plastic container, put them in there. Of course, this one has some on it. And this paleo drill that I found, and if you've seen my arrowhead videos, you've seen this, you saw me find this point. See, there's a little bit right there. Now, if you come in and flake it off, that's all well and good, and you can flake it off, but this is any tool that you use is going to leave a metal mark on your point. And anytime that there's metal marks on points, there's a good opportunity that if you were to go get it authenticated by an authenticator, that they're going to say, well, no, this was made with modern tools because I see metal marks on it. Now, I'm not going to say that's what's going to happen, but that's something you got to be concerned about. And if you've got a point that's worth a lot of money, you want to get it authenticated and you want to put it in your collection, either that or sell it. You're going to cause yourself problems. What I use is a vinegar, just a distilled white vinegar. You can buy 5% acidity. What I typically do is buy the most acidic I can get. This particular bottle here is just a Walmart brand, a great value brand, but it's got 10.5% acidity. Did I read that right? No, this one's got 5%. 5% is fine. Now I'm going to show you what this does. Let's get these over here where you can see it. All right, so we're going to get a little vinegar in there. Just enough to cover them. And they're covered. Not for sure how long it'll take, but what'll happen is these will start foaming and bubbling. And it's not happening real quick. So we can take a piece of this. This is off of the mammoth tooth. We'll put it in there. And see how it immediately goes to fizzing? That acid in the vinegar will eat that off. And you can see, I'll pull this piece out because these here, as you can see, this one down here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's already starting to bubble on the bottom side. We're already seeing bubbles start coming off of this one. This one doesn't have enough on it here for it to be really bubbling as of yet. But it doesn't take very long. This one's got some real heavy bubble action. Don't know if you can see that. We'll see if we can zoom in a little bit and see if we can see the bubble action going on here. That's going to be a pretty hazy image, I'm sure. But there's pretty fine bubble action. Depending on how much is on there, I would assume, I'm going to guesstimate that the way this is, it's probably going to take anywhere from 4 to 10 hours for that to come off. And it probably won't just come off. What I typically find myself doing, and let's zoom back out here real quick. What I do is I come in here and once it's worked a little bit, I'll just work it like this and it'll start coming off. But obviously this hasn't sat near long enough for this to start coming off. So that's essentially it. That's how I work the mineral deposits off of my artifacts and how I cleaned up this tooth. The last tooth that I found didn't have all of this on it, so there was really no cleanup other than cleaning the mud and stuff off of it. Well, I hope that helps people out, and I'm kind of excited about sharing a little bit of my cleanup processes, and I'm going to be excited about getting these points cleaned up. I just haven't. This point here is just not a, it's got damage. It's got an impact fracture right here. It's just not a really good point, so I've never spent the time to clean it up. So I'll be excited about getting this point cleaned up. All right. Hope that helps.